Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Unit 5 of Grade Time 4, okay? So, now we're going to take a look at this part here. Think self-esteem, right? And this one is pretty interesting because now we're going to be talking about a better world and especially in this moment we're going through with all the pandemic, all the idea of the coronavirus going on, we have some questions here that we can relate to the previous listening exercise that you did on your study guides, right? So for this exercise here to work, you must have listened to the story of the two teenagers talking about Stephen King's book, okay? And also you must have done the activities before. But taking a look here, we have two questions. And I'm going to talk about my answers to those questions. And at the end, I'm going to be challenging you to go a little bit deeper in the same topic. And I want you to show, and I want to show you something very interesting that I hope you enjoy. Okay? So, for starters, we have question number 1. Imagine you had a machine like the one in the story. If you could eliminate one problem in the world, what would it be and why? Okay, so here, remember that in the story, they talk about a word processor that the man gets from his nephew, and every time he types in something, either he creates something in the real world or he eliminates something by pressing the delete key on the keyboard, right? So here, talking about myself, I think that one of the first things I would eliminate, one of the first problems I would eliminate in the world would be poverty, right? Because for me, poverty is the base for many other problems that we face nowadays in society. Because when a person is really, really poor, they don't have the same access to food, first of all. Probably they don't live in a house or in a very comfortable space. It's very common for us to see people, to see on the news people talking about families that live like more than 5 people in just one very small space, you know. Also, poverty limits the access to education, limits the access to culture, you know. So, these for me would be one of the first problems I would eliminate in the world. What about you? What would you eliminate if you had the chance to eliminate one problem in the world? What would you eliminate? So, keep this question in mind, okay? But now, question number 2 gives us a different perspective, okay? So, let's check. In question number 2, we have, if you could use the machine to create something to make the world a better place, what sentence would you type in? That's a very interesting one, because before we're talking about eliminating a problem that already exists, right? And the other one is talking about something that we could create in the world so that we can make it a better place, right? I believe that I would create a system in which everybody could get the chance to learn whatever they felt like learning. Like a machine, I imagine, something that people would go to this machine or access this machine, and then they would type in a word like, I don't know, food, and they would get lots of information about this. But then you might be wondering, well, Google is already there, right? If I go on Google and type food, I can get all the information I need. The thing is, for me, every person in the world would have the access to this machine, right? Which is something that nowadays it's not a reality for many people. Probably no, definitely. If you're watching me on this video here, it means that you have access to internet and lots of information. But there are many millions of people without access to the internet and to reliable information, right? So, and you, what would you do? So keep this in mind as well. And before I launch the challenge to you, I want to show you something pretty interesting. Have you ever heard about the UN, the United Nations? That's a very interesting group of people that represent lots of countries in the world, and they meet lots of times in a year to discuss problems. But in 2015, if I'm not mistaken, these people, the UN, right, they held a meeting in which they discussed solutions for problems that the world faces, and they created like an agenda, okay, that in 2030, so 10 years from today, 10 years from now, things that we would have to accomplish so that we have a sustainable growth in the world, right? And they came up with 17 goals, right? And here, if you access sustainabledevelopment.un.org, you can have even more information about each one of them, okay? So here we have it. The Sustainable Development Goals are, number 1, no poverty, okay? Number 2, zero hunger, so everybody has something to eat. 3, good health and well-being. 4, quality education. 5, gender equality. 6, clean water and sanitation. 7, affordable and clean energy. 8, decent work and economic growth. 9, industry, innovation and infrastructure. 10, reduced inequalities. 11, sustainable cities and communities. 12, responsible consumption and production. 13, climate action. 14, life below water. 15, life on land. 16, peace, justice, and strong institutions. And finally, 17, partnerships for the goals, right? Wow, these are amazing goals that if we really get to 2030 and have reached all these goals, I think we will be living in a very, very nice place, right? As society, as human beings. So my challenge to you guys is, First of all, I would like you to think if you prefer writing a text or recording a video. It's on you, okay? You choose the best way you want to express yourself. And you have two things to do. The first one is to answer the two questions before, okay? So if you had the machine like in the audio, which problem would you eliminate, okay, in the world? And the opposite, what would you create, okay? And the second thing is, I would like you to choose one of these goals here and try to explain it on your video, okay? You don't need to record like a 10-minute video, okay? No, it can be something very, very simple, but just to talk about the importance of this goal. And the nice thing is, if you access this link over here, okay, this address, you can open each one of the goals and get even more information on that, okay? So again, two things. The challenge is you can either write or record the video, okay? And you're going to answer the two questions, and then later you're going to choose one of the goals and try to explain why it is important for us to reach this goal, okay? I hope you enjoyed the challenge, and please share your ideas in your production with your teacher and also with your classmates, okay? And I hope you have lots of fun doing that. So, see you again next time. Bye!